I
a
had
couple of years
cash when I bought the deck furniture and the new push mower, and what else did I buy? A couple hinges. Got them big tanks,
They sell
square.
teenagers with push mowers now? Oh, I said they
Oh,
sell.
how else you expect this old man to get his exercise?
Well, they make those real fancy self-mowing lawnmowers that have a docking station now, and once you program it for your yard, it does it, daily or every other day. When it needs to be charged, it goes back to the docking station, then it goes back and mows your yard.
It's just like an outside room.
I bet you that thing is all of 4 feet long and probably 2 to 3 feet wide. One of the guys at work bought one for, a fair amount.
Salesman, right?
Fair
Salesman or high management.
fair amount. He brought it in,
Yeah.
said I was like, "What? What is this?" He's like, "Instead of spending this many hours of my life mowing my grass, this thing does it all." I'm like, "Fair enough." Would I buy one? No.
Till it runs over the neighbor's cat.
Right?
Or run me over.
Now he's got to come up with another activity to go away from the wife.
I got a
Also,
list
go
of
down
this
my-
big.
Oh yeah, the big green Joker looking one on Maximum Overdrive.
A steamroller run over the kid and its head just popped open.
Yeah,
Not sure if I think they edited that out of some of the versions.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
he
They
bought-
just let they don't want to show that on TV anymore. They just let them do it on the video games.
Exactly.
The only movie Stephen King directed in his whole career. He was high on coke the whole time.
Welcome to Skol Chat. We are a group created by 4 guys for the love of the game, specifically for our favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. We are 4 fans who get together to discuss all aspects of the team. We have room to add a couple of you at a time during our airings and would like you to join us in our chat. Although the game may only last a season, the desire for the game and the team is year-long. Please hit the subscribe button, follow us on YouTube, and give us either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on your experience, and leave us a comment. If you'd like to join us during the show, contact us at the email link provided below.
Welcome to Skol Chat 44. After a week off, we are back. This week we're going to talk about the new Vikings GM. We'll also talk about some fiery comments, or maybe not so fiery comments, that were made by one of the players during the OTA interview process. Talk about some NFC North team news, and then just little bits of NFL-wide news. Before we get started, if you like what you see here, like, subscribe, hit the things, do the stuff. And with that, we will get started. The Vikings announced their new GM hire, and that is Nolan Teasley.
Easily.
Teasley. Just a quick background on him. He played quarterback at Central Washington University. Wonder if that's the WAC or if he was part of the MAC, the college conferences. Graduated in 2007, started, I think he did 6 years of hard labor in marketing, and then decided he didn't want to work hard anymore. So then he emailed a bunch of teams and asked for an internship, and he got one with the Seahawks. So he started as as a intern, basically. Joined the scout office in 2015. 2017, assistant director of player personnel. 2018 to 22, he was director of player personnel. And from 2022 to 2026, he was an assistant general manager under GM John Schneider. Don't have any thoughts on Nolan Teasley?
I haven't heard a whole lot about him. I know he's been with the Seahawks for 13 seasons, but I guess I don't know. Is he leaving on a good note? You know what I mean? How did those 13 years go? I didn't get to really look into it much. Have you guys heard much about him?
Yeah, it went good.
Yeah.
I would make a recommendation. Go to the Minnesota Vikings YouTube channel. And they
Look
had
up
a
Skol Chat.
and he was on the news, conference there, and he talked and took questions along with Mark Will and all that good stuff. Yeah, and even O'Connell was asked about it. Well, O'Connell was part of the panel, the interviewed the GM. So
There you go.
yeah, you learn quite a bit along with what you read and what you whatever. But yeah, he left on a good note from the Seahawks. Otherwise, if Snyder didn't want him to go or didn't want him to advance, he could have blocked the interview.
True.
Yeah, no, I think he's put his time in. I think he's made a good name for himself around the league. I guess from what I've heard, he's more direct. Won't give away too much information, so he's gonna keep things close to the vest. Unlike it sounds like the GM John Schneider for the Seahawks kind of is more gregarious, more out there, and more, jokes around more with the media. So, and of course, the GM doesn't really interview very often with the media, unlike Ricky Spielman, who seemed to be interviewing with the media weekly. Always seem to be talking to the at press conferences.
Well, they did say some of the commentators said about Teasley that he's not a showman. He's, down to earth and he doesn't, how Spillman, when he was asked a question, now he went in length of answering it and just took up wind, same with Quasey. Well, Teasley doesn't go through a lot of details or, anyways, is not long winded answers, and he does answer the question the way he asked the question. Okay, what the question was asked, Mark Welk. So how it is it's going to work now with Teasley, general manager, and you got Rob and you got Kevin O'Connell. So do all three report to you? And Mark goes, no. Nolan will report to me, and Rob will report to Nolan, the GM. Kevin O'Connell will be reporting or get together with the GM, but he also to keep in contact with the owners. So that's how it's set up. It's not a three-way thing. It's not just the GM. And so basically got the GM and you got Kevin O'Connell to report to the ownership about, how things going. And also, too, I didn't take it that way, but I can't remember if it was Mark or if it was Mark Welp or if it was Teasley said that he would make the final say on the draft during the draft. That's how it's set up. He's got, but anyway, kind of like what Rob did, but, and he is in charge of the 53-man roster. So, speculation
Yep.
was O'Connell would be the one that does the 53-man roster. So, but
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it goes.
tempo.
Yeah. Well, I know he already did his first two hirings of some former undrafted free agent Seahawks wide receivers. Picked up signed two of them, and let Davis go.
Let who go?
Davis,
Who was
that's
it?
Joaquin Davis, that wide receiver, Joaquin Davis.
Joaquin Davis.
They released him, and they picked up the wide receiver Michael Briscoe and Trayvon Rudolph. They were both undrafted free agents that were picked up by the Seahawks prior.
Last year or?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this the one he released was he a undrafted free agent or who was he? The name.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but I think we actually
he
mentioned
played
him
with
one
the
time.
Broncos, or was on the practice squad, or was with them in the off season with the Broncos last year.
Oh.
Signed him. I don't think he was. Definitely not UDFA. But yeah, so that gives the Vikings the max 91 players right now with the two signings and the one cut.
Yeah, they're allowed 91 if they have a foreign player.
Right.
Which they have the punter, yeah. But going back to it, like the triangle of authority, because really it is. I mean, there's two people that report up to the owners, and then you have Rob B that reports to Teasley. But Kevin O'Connell doesn't report to Teasley.
Yeah, he does.
Well, from what I heard, he reports up directly to the owners.
No, he's
And that
gotta also report to. That's the way Mark Wolf said how it was working.
Yeah, I thought it was that set up too that he also reported O'Connell also directly reported to those guys. I understand he's probably still got to go to the general manager, but sounds like he also has direct access to the owners.
Yeah, that's the way Mark Wolf answered the question because the question was brought up to him by what's his name, Sheeper or
Seifert.
whatever, Kevin
Seifert.
Yeah, he's for CSPN or whatever. Anyways, he's the one that asked the question about the triangulation. And Mark said no. The GM reports to him, and Rob reports to the GM.
Right.
Kevin reports to the GM, also can report to me. So
Yep.
Yeah, and in the end, Teasley has the overall say on the roster regardless.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And he also whatever breaker, going over the draft, so that's kind of what I got. And he was asked about if he was going to bring any staff from the Seahawks, like in scouting or whatever. And he said that he's not thinking anything on that line at the moment. He wants to meet all the scouts and all the office personnel and whatever and see how everything was set up and whatever. And then probably, what is the term you use, to put his style in the play, his way of doing it, I guess. So, and then he said, not saying that anybody's job is on the line, but, who knows on what goes on the next few months. So, but all he wants to do is meet the coaches, all the coaches, the front office, the scouting department, the pro department, and the players and all that. So that's what his goal is. So it's not really a triangulation type setup, really.
Nope.
It's a twin head or twin head. Yeah.
Well, it's not, and I think it's somebody needs to, aside from the owners, somebody needs to have the ultimate decision-making authority. Otherwise, things just get convoluted, and then you have a battle, which is what happened. Kind of seems like with Quasi. Nobody respected him. It seemed like so. Like then, just decisions weren't being made that should have been made, or as quickly as they could have been. But it sounds like though they're working that way. As long as because if Teasley doesn't have hiring power of coaching or firing power of coaching, then it's kind of again he just kind of loses the authority in the room or in the building.
Well, I think he's got the authority to, like I hope that since his contract is up, that former GM for the Colts, what's his name? He was Quasi's right hand man. I hope they don't extend his contract. I hope they get rid of him. And then Teasley bring in his own right hand guy, or promote someone within the organization. Get rid of that guy,
They could. You never know. You
So,
might have more friends than you know of.
yeah, who knows? You might, hey, I like you. Want to stay on my staff? Yeah. Well, or you might say, I got somebody else in mind for your position.
Yep.
I think
But
it's
they might
Grigson,
let
right?
some too. Who knows? It's all new.
What was the name, Joe?
I think it's Ryan Grigson is who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's I keep on forgetting his name because that shows how much I think of him.
Well, I was gonna say, like, there's so many names just floating around, especially like when we talked about like who they're hiring or interviewing, throughout the process. So
I don't know.
He exists. He does exist.
Who does? Okay. I have no idea. I thought he was just trying to pull a fast one on me.
all you have to do is just say it with conviction, and people will believe you.
That is right. Now I bet you can name every single.
Are you throwing your voice again? So we talked about the new signing. So he already made some moves, I guess, in his GM capacity. And again, just pulling some guys that were cut from the Seahawks. So both wide receivers, both allegedly can play special teams. One of them could possibly be a returner. But yeah, with that, the new year started, was it June 1st? So now the Vikings have some more salary cap space. So it's around 13 million, I think, is what they have. And so they do have some, I guess, wiggle room to do one more signing if they need to, or which I hope they're just holding some salary cap aside for Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
He might sign and do the thing that Carson Wentz did last year, where he signs right before, start of preseason. I don't know
Doesn't he have a couple other teams in interest with him?
I can't imagine him playing elsewhere.
No, I can't see him. But if he's going to play again, he'll play for the Vikes. And they say he's staying in the same shape right now. So I don't see him. Really, I don't see him not playing this year. But we'll see, things could happen. But he stayed in his shape.
Playing condition. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you stay in the shape, unlike in the 70s where guys would just show up out of shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd
Oh,
be
they're
smoking
so
heaters on the sideline, like Vlade Divac in the 80s in
Oh,
the NBA.
yeah.
That's funny.
But they do have some space, so they could possibly add another outside linebacker, because people are trying to get them to add another rusher. Depending on how Brandel does, they could bring in another center.
They already drafted one, didn't they?
Well, I know, but I was talking about with the new league year starting, they have about $13 million in salary cap space now.
Okay, how much did it cost for them two players from the Seahawks?
$5 and a cup of coffee, probably.
I wish it
I
was
don't know if
that
they
cheap,
listed
man. I
that.
start my own football team with the unfree agents, undrafted. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't.
Don't see what
coffee.
they offered him at all.
It was empty.
It was a $5 gift card to Starbucks.
Well, how about a $10 gift card to Outback or Texas Roadhouse?
That'll get you in the door.
You could maybe buy half a bloomin' onion at Outback.
Oh yeah, you could. I think they're like $13-14 right now.
Huh, I
It'd be
don't know.
worth
I
it.
haven't been to them
It
places
would be.
for years.
But why you got to do that? You're making me hungry.
I haven't even been to Texas Roadhouse. Wait a minute,
No.
maybe down in Texas I was, but not up around here.
Was it an official Texas Roadhouse, or was it just a roadhouse on the side of the road?
Well, Texas Roadhouse, it was on the road in Texas. So yeah,
Were they doing their line dances in the middle of the restaurant?
no,
Somebody
no,
sitting on a seahorse with like the horse. What is it?
with
What am
the saddle and
Yeah,
Well, you sit on the saddle for your birthday?
yeah. At
Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse.
no. In fact, the place was awesome because great big ass baked tater and a big juicy steak, man. Yeah, had a nice sized bowl of salad, Yeah, served it on a big platter. Yeah, brought it in. Yeah, the steak and the baked tater took up the whole platter, man.
Take your word for it. You know what we did forget though? I was so anxious to get started, we didn't do the memes.
Well, show 'em off, lad. Yeah, I'm
All
ready
right,
for
so
some funnies.
memes of the week. All right, so this kind of goes into what you were talking about earlier. Doctor, how much pain are you feeling? Me, just a normal amount. Doctor, no amount of pain is normal. Me.
What world you live in, Doc?
My lower back, I don't know what it is. I could
Well,
I could tweak it picking up laundry.
did
Yeah.
you hear what I was telling John about my back? I had an MRI done, and they wanted me to see a neurologist because I got a fragment of my disc from my disc. I don't know if it's still hanging on there and hitting the nerve or if it's a fragment and floating around down there, So, boy, and arthritis. Arthritis got me really bad, I guess. Anyway, so
That son of a. Yeah, no, I heard you talking a bit, so that's why and it just kinda it fit. I picked this out before you started talking about it though. You know how like guys are with their their toiletries, like right? Like the shampoo and whatnot. So here's like the woman, shampoo for dry and damaged hair, and it's only for that. Guys, 6-in-1 shampoo for hair, face, body, carpet, car, and dishes. Yeah. Could even
well,
can probably wash the floor with it.
I hate the 3-in-1 stuff, the body wash,
Oh
the
no.
shampoo, and the conditioner. What the hell? I'm smeared the conditioner all over my body.
It's the only thing I buy is 3-in-1. I won't. I'm not getting ripped off. That's 3 things for the price of 1.
Yeah.
I wasn't born yesterday.
I like
Yes,
my
dude.
Old Spice body wash, whatever. It's the blue stuff. It smells good. And I like Pantene shampoo with a little bit of Pantene
I saw that commercial.
conditioner.
Your
So I
hair
can
just
shine up the shiny
Now you're making
spot right here. Yeah.
Tom even more hungry. What was that stuff that they used to like back in the 90s? What was it called?
lard.
There's no, there's like it was just shampoo and like it was all over. Like they advertised it like nobody's business, and now like I haven't heard of it and since then.
I don't know. The only one I can.
What the hell was it?
Are you thinking like the lava soap?
No, it was like was it Fructis? I can't remember. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it
That
was
sounds
some
that sounds
shampoo
familiar.
that was really, yeah.
And
That
anyhow.
I think was popular back in the 90s.
So, well, and we'll kind of, and some of these memes, I kind of,
Springs.
there you go.
The what?
Irish Springs, I think, was one of.
Oh,
Oh, that's good
that's what I
stuff.
use. Yeah, that's what I use.
I
What was the
used to
stuff that was
use it.
made with like pumice? It
Pumice.
had bits of, like, I think it had bits of pumice in it.
I don't know. I don't even know what pumice is.
That's lava.
Yeah, you brought up lava earlier, so I wanted to bring it back up again.
Okay.
They
Back
put bits of it in
the old
Gojo.
days, back when I was young, for the crew cut, they used to use this. It made your hair stiff. It was some form of gel, but it was good stuff.
The hair
Then
gel.
also back in the days when I had longer hair, couldn't afford, hair stuff, to keep your hair in place and that. Used to use a little dab of Vaseline. That's
No,
slick
you used
shit.
the Dapper Dan hair pomade. That's what you used.
Don't be telling everybody now, damn it.
So the next couple or few memes kind of play into some news that's been going on. So, and we'll talk a bit about it later, but the Packers signed a player to an extension. And we'll go more in depth to it, but so here's a bunch of, and I'm not sure why they have the Buccaneers thrown back in here because they haven't been part of the NFC North in like I'm not sure how many years. But it goes, and then they signed Christian Watson to a $110 million contract. Is this Reagan? Is that Ronald Reagan?
Yes.
And is that Bush W?
Yep.
So I'm not sure. Dick Cheney's probably in there somewhere, probably, right? No, or is he out hunting?
He's back there behind the wig.
Yeah.
You
So
know who he is, Tom?
Oh,
Who is the guy with the bear on him?
like I said, it looks like Dick Cheney to me.
But
Yeah,
I,
it
And
does.
the funny thing is,
Yeah.
like, he was the vice president under George W. And he shot somebody when he was out hunting.
Yeah.
That was my joke. Was he out hunting? I don't know. Anyways,
Mondale.
Dan Quill's back there. Can he spell potato? So they announced the new player or the player that's gonna be on the cover of Madden. I'm not sure if the video game Madden, and there's a Madden curse. So anybody that appears on the cover kind of gets hurt. Supposedly, that's I think Adrian Peterson was on the cover and got hurt the year he was on the cover. But Caleb Williams, the Bears quarterback, is going to be the cover athlete for Madden 27. So here's what the cover is going to look like.
Tom's gonna get mad.
He's just meditating. This is
Yeah.
a scientifically proven factor to improve their game for the upcoming season.
I think he
Meditate every game.
got hit really hard and soiled himself. I think he's passed out there. Speaking of the Bears, the Bears are going to be relocating out of Chicago, and there's talk about like shipping them over to Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Indiana could possibly have 2 professional football teams.
The Colts and the Bears.
And this is what it'll look like. And down there it just says it's game time in Gary, Indiana. It's the Bears versus the Vikings, and that's what it's going to look like. Still have an open dome, of course, and the
I hope
smog
so.
from the factories.
Yeah.
At least they're
Here's
getting
the
out of
respirator.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yep. Chicago.
Well, yeah, people are scared to go to games. I don't know if I'd ever go to. Well, I guess we've been to Chicago within the last few years. That's all I got.
Last time I've been in Chicago, I must have been back in either 99 or 2000.
Were you on a mission from God?
No, trucking, man, trucking.
I thought you were with the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Had to
We're on
go
a mission
through
from God.
Chicago to go down to southern Illinois. There was a plant down there that Hormel operated or whatever. And yeah, then I learned how to bypass Chicago. So, but a little too late there.
What is it? $1 short, day late, $1 short.
I like that. I lost $1 anyways.
So the Vikings have had some OTAs. They've had a few days of them. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but they'll have OTAs. Their last, I guess, one of the OTAs is today, and then they'll have another set in a couple weeks, and then they'll have mandatory minicamp June 9th. June 9th. This might be, I don't even know what I wrote anymore. It's hard to see. I wrote I wrote June 15th to the 18th, and then mandatory mini camp. I wrote June 9th to the 11th. So I'm not sure. One of them is mandatory. But with that,
All of them.
they interviewed McCarthy and Murray, the media jackals did, and McCarthy had some interesting kind of, I guess, analogies of what it's like. I guess the environment with Kyler Murray in the quarterback room now, and I'm not sure if I exactly remember 100% what he said. Does anyone remember what he said?
Yeah, he said that he was asked how him and Kyler get along, and he just made the comment about in the classroom, it's like sitting across the room from one another, just another guy, and whatever. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of bull crap going around about how McCarthy answered the question and really thought he'd grown up and all that. Well, he was just being honest, the competition. What? I picking his brains on this and that, where Kyler Murray said that, well, for him, what I know of the game and all that, if he
Took it
wants
badly because he needs or asked for it. He said their relationship is going great.
Yeah, Tyler did, but here McCarthy didn't acknowledge that, So
Yeah, so he like said like it was just like when they were in high school,
yeah,
and it's just a guy that he just doesn't talk to. And he's on the other side of the classroom.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
you're never gonna get this. You're not gonna get the exact story because they're button heads.
Well, that came right from him, McCarthy, and it came from. In fact, I watched the interview or the whatever with the reporter saying McCarthy, and that's what he said.
Yeah.
And is what it is. He said, the organization will do whatever they choose to do. All he can control is what he can control is, what he does. So he's
I
going to
think
compete like mad, work his butt off. And
I think Kyle's gonna end up starting. They want to see what he's gonna do. I think personally, I could be wrong.
well, it's hard telling. Supposedly, it's supposed to be a straight out competition between McCarthy and Murray. And the last, when the media members could be there, when they interview McCarthy and that, according to the judge, McCarthy and Murray was like 50-50 on the different, the 7-on-7 and
Yeah.
what have you. And today he was going out there and I guess Purple Daily's having their Purple Unplug, so Judd will give out his report on OTAs today. So
yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing because you get to see the bits and pieces, and it's not open to the media, and a lot of times that's where you get the stories from. You get it from
yeah,
the media because you don't have access to it. So we
right.
have no idea of, like you said, that's 50-50. I saw a highlight of bomb to Jordan Addison, and then half the people said it was Kyler throwing in the ball, and the other half said it was actually JJ McCarthy. So I mean, I don't
That's
know who threw the bomb to Addison.
I don't think they really know.
You couldn't see the quarterback or whoever threw it. So yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about this time of year because you have no knowledge. You can't. There's no battles, right? I guess it's just people getting used to the process and the way the Vikings run things, and hopefully getting introduced to some of the plays and at least the base playbook for offense and defense.
Right. The way I understand, supposedly they're only going half speed. They're not going all out. But of course, guys get carried away and want to show what they can do. So me, I would go out there and show what I think I could do. Run it like this: one hand out, the other one behind my ass. Wish him on it.
And we kind of talk about like you have no idea how the teams are going to perform. At this point, just obviously they're just doing OTAs, but ESPN put out their power index. It's a new. It's basically whatever this index, whatever the analytics do, it measures how would the Vikings or how they would play or perform in a game against an average opponent. The Vikings were last in the NFC North on this ranking, so they were ranked 19th in the league, and they were actually their FPI, whatever this group of analytics is, that they'd have a negative -0.4 points against an average football team in the NFL. So just another, just to show you where the ESPN, and we talk about it, flyover Vikings. Nobody ever gives us respect. So, and usually when they don't give us respect, that's when we do well for for the season.
Kevin O'Connell even commented that that's the way he likes it. The national media and all that. How they place the Vikings. That makes them want to prove everybody wrong. So yeah.
Yep.
And then everybody's surprised because the Vikings, well, look they were surprised the way things were going last season and end up with a 9-win record, So, and then, like when they had Darnold, a 14-win season, so yeah.
Well, at least with Zimmer, you'd be able to tell because every odd year was when they did well. It was the even years that you knew they weren't going to do well.
Yeah.
So, but now you never know. But hopefully it's an indicator that, they're not being taken, thought very highly of. So, but who do you think's the highest ranked team in the NFC North?
I suppose knowing them, they got the Bears or Packers, one of the two.
It is the greasy, smelly Green Bay Packers. They're ranked number 6 in the NFL somehow, some way.
Where they're getting all this from?
And the Lions, who finished last in NFC North, are ranked 8th. And the Bears are only 16th. So the team that won the division last year is 3rd, and the Vikings last. So, and I mean, according to a lot of people, the Bears drafted well too.
Yeah, everybody said the Bears drafted well. They even made comments the Lions drafted well.
Yep.
Even the greasy Green Bay, they drafted well, and we laughed at it. But, and the Vikings in a toilet. But I think this year the Vikings did pretty good drafted.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how Caleb Banks turns out if he actually makes it to training camp. Yeah.
Oh, did you hear about Carson?
About who?
The Green Bay defensive.
Oh yeah, no, just hold on. We can talk about that here.
I brought up greasy Green Bay, so.
All right, well, let's talk about. We already brought up the Christian Watson part. Let's just kind of finish talking about that here.
Gonna make Jordan Addison awfully expensive.
Exactly. Right. Do you see the contract details, John?
Is that what 31 million guaranteed or whatever?
That was a signing bonus.
Yeah, signing bonus. Signing bonus. Yep.
What?
It's 27.5 million a year or something like that.
For what? 4 years?
4 years, 110 million, 500,000. I'm not sure why they didn't just round it up to 111 million.
Or just brought it down to 110.
No, either one. I mean, when you start getting that high, it's funny.
Well,
it's just pretend money. It's not really.
He did play damn near a third of the games since they've had him. So that's an awful lot of money to throw at that. Somebody who is on the field 66% of the time.
Yeah, that it is.
His top production was his rookie year, which again, I don't have anything against him. He's from NDSU, North Dakota State University, so I want him to do well. But his top production was 41 receptions, 611 yards, and 7 touchdowns in his rookie year. He hasn't broken 611 yards, or he hasn't broken 700 yards since he's been in the league. He's been in the league 4 years, and they're throwing that kind of money at him.
Yeah.
Well, look at what they had to do with Love. They kept on setting him, and he played his last year on the rookie contract. So the following year, in order to keep him, they had to give him big bucks. And it's like, what? He didn't even play. And they talk about McCarthy only playing, how many games? 6 games or whatever. How he played. Cut him, trade him, what have you? Well, basically trade him. Or either that or keep him as a backup. But Love, hell, the Packers went out for a season. And out there on the field, they give him an extension or, the contract for, what was it, 60 million or something like that, or 50 million a year?
Well, no, that's crazy. It is. What they spent on him.
It is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is nuts.
And what the hell are the Packers doing? Who is Watson's agent anyways? Does it say?
Whose agent?
Watson.
Watson's?
Yeah.
It doesn't usually tell us who we could find out, but it doesn't usually tell you.
No, but I mean, it doesn't. That's just it's crazy.
Is it Kirk Cousins' agent? Is what you're getting at?
I wonder.
All right, so then, yeah, I don't know. It just seems crazy. Like we talked about it. It's just funny money. How many years ago they restricted how much you could pay draft picks because of this, but now you're looking at this and a guy who's only played 4 years hasn't caught more than 700 yards in a season, making $110 million, a $31 million guaranteed, a signing bonus.
A signing bonus, yeah. Cash handed in the barrel. Yeah, no, that's just stupid. And then, like you say, when it comes back to Jordan Addison, he would expect more. Obviously,
Well, yeah, he's on the
better,
field more.
so I don't know.
Yeah. And then, of course, these goofy teams like the Packers paying these guys that kind of money. Some of them other teams paying out that kind of money. So that's one reason on Naylor. Look at the contract he got with Vegas, So, the Vikings weren't going to pay him that much because he wasn't out there on the field that much,
Well, and the fact that even Justin Jefferson struggled to get 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
With the quarterback play. So, and that's not knocking the quarterback. I mean, well, it kind of is, but again, it's just the whole team as a whole. The offensive line struggled, and the quarterback struggled because of it. Then they got hurt a bunch. But no, I mean, the overall thing is the money's getting crazy.
Yeah,
Getting crazy again.
They need to set a cap on positions and be done with it, so every team has the same competitive edge. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Oh, yeah. That's why they went with the cap, because these owners that had lots of money could go out and get all these good players. And teams like the Vikings, well, back then, the Vikings were owned by a group of 10 guys. And yeah, they had money, but not that kind of money. Not to match Jerry Jones or what's his name, head of the Raiders, and New York, and the Patriots, all them teams, that had rich owners. So that's why the league put the cap on. So all teams,
yeah,
the rich guys can't throw in their money, but here's the catch. Nothing is controlled about signing bonus.
Yep.
Guaranteed money. In fact, the league went nuts when the Vikings gave Cousins back in 18, the guaranteed $80 million.
Well, it's because it was a start of the guaranteed contract, which the NBA has done for years.
But the
And going back to
NFL
the
didn't do it that high.
Well, now they're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the NBA started it, but I wish they had a minimum amount of money to spend, in the Major League Baseball, so like the Twins would actually spend money on their roster,
Yeah.
so they could maybe be competitive. Anyways, we won't get into baseball.
No, it's just getting to the point to where you act like these certain people are the team themselves when it gets to, a ridiculous amount of money. When these guys that are blocking for you and stuff aren't making crap, and they're, they're, going through it all too.
Yeah, the O-line, but you hear about the defensive end getting big money, and even some of the D-tackles are getting big contracts, but the poor guys on the O-line, they're not getting that much compared to the other one.
No.
And you look at the receivers, they're making money, the quarterback. Then on the defense, you got the cornerback, the safety. The safety a lot of times don't make big money except if they're a real big name. But then, linebackers, they don't make much money. But God, the rest of the guys will. Yeah.
No,
There ought to be a limit on, okay, this position, is it, after their rookie year, this is how much he can make, or allow.
Well, I think with the kind of issues that the TV contracts and the NFL is kind of, experiencing with, maybe the government, maybe at some point the bubble's got to burst and it's got to reset itself.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason they make the money is because people pay. People pay for jerseys, merchandise, watch the games, go to the games.
As we talked about right now, recently is all the apps and stuff that you have to have in order to watch, all the games.
Right. You got to have Prime for Thursday night game. But
Fox, you're gonna have
Netflix, you got to have that to watch a game.
Prime, Amazon Prime, and then and that's just it. And that's why the salary cap keeps going up. It's because of the TV contracts, the TV deals, which is revenue sharing. Spread that up against the teams, and the teams got to spend it. They got to put it towards the teams themselves and not just pocket it. But still,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
eventually they're going to make what they can make, and eventually it's going to and NBA's kind of experienced it where viewership has gone down, and obviously I don't think the viewership for the NFL games is going to go down. It's just that there's not going to be many networks out there to offer the money up.
Well, if the government turns around and says, "Hey, we're going back to our original deal here. You got to offer those games for free," that's going to cut some revenue from them.
Yeah. Well, if they go back and it's like a class action lawsuit and they have to pay people back money they spent to watch it, it'd be kind of hard to do that. But
yeah, no, I don't think they'd do that. But I think they would just say, "We're you need to quit what you're doing, or we're gonna give you a hefty tax bill because we gave you this break in the beginning because it was supposed to be offered free." So
it all started with Monday Night Football going to ESPN.
Yeah. The only way you could watch that if you had cable.
Yep. You were going to talk about, before I stopped you from talking about it, the other Packer news.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can share. I'll let you tell us now.
Okay. They're saying that he's not going to be.
Who is?
Parson, isn't it?
Micah Parsons, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Not going to be available at the beginning of the season, which we kind of speculate. Like I heard that some other out there think Parsons not going to be ready at the beginning of the start of the season.
For our game, we definitely won't. First game we play against.
But he figured about, whenever the mid-season or around there. So, yeah, the first game probably won't see him, but the second one might. So,
yeah, it says what I saw was mid-October, and the way what I read, the way it was kind of worded is like people didn't know that, like most people didn't know that he also tore his meniscus in addition to it was ACL, MCL, PCL. I'm not sure. So it was a ligament and then the meniscus. So that's why he's going to be out longer. I think an 8-month return kind of deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Well, hell, with ACL and that, a lot of times players didn't come back for a year.
No, they didn't.
Now, it seemed like they're back within 6-7 months.
Well, this just shows you how well, just the medical field's coming along.
Yeah.
And then again, of course, how much that costs too, right? If you want, just like if people had like a, their appendix removed or appendicitis, like back in the day, they'd have like a nice scar. Now they can have just 3 little pinpricks and somehow get it out. So there's
well, that's just like my hernia surgery. The surgeon told me on my side, well, like they did with my lung surgery, they cut 3 places or whatever is robotic. Go in there with the robotic, put my intestine back where it's supposed to be, put the patch in there, sew it, and crawl back out of there and probably stitch me up there. So I'm going to have all kinds of scars on this side, fellers.
I'm going to have to get going. I got to eat dinner after that note.
Let's wait till the nanobots become common. Put a nanobot in your body and just prepares you every night when you go to sleep. They're
That's coming soon.
Yeah, we'll live till like we're 300 years old, like we're in the Bible. Bears news. I kind of had this out here. We talked about that.
The Bears
on the top, and then your favorite team. Might be closer to you in Indiana. You won't have to go as far as I don't know. I think it's north, right? Indiana's right above Illinois.
West.
Well, if it's Gary, Indiana, that's the northern tip there. Bad part of Indiana.
Yep.
Along with, well, it's not so bad over there where Dwayne lives, but anyway. And down in Indianapolis, they got similar to Minneapolis, the roundabout, like 494 and all that, they got similar there in Minneapolis. There'll be times drive along, see some gal driving by, no bottoms on.
Did she lose them? Somebody steal them?
Oh, I don't want to go into details.
You know details about why her bottoms are gone?
Why she's bottomless? Well, she got a bottom, but she's not dressed down there.
Daniel went fishing. And then
That's like one time I was
Was she
coming
driving
back
a
home.
car?
Yeah, driving a car, bare ass, okay?
you got those shooting fishing
Got
poles
something that
nowadays.
drives bird chest.
Well, I remember driving through
Whistle
Chicago and
loud.
seeing people like putting makeup on. There's people reading the newspaper back when the newspaper was a thing. You see lots of weird stuff. Curling
Oh,
irons.
I was coming back home on I-35 in Iowa. This Cadillac would pass me and going like, gee, that car's in a hurry. Yeah, rich prick, got all kinds of money, got a Cadillac. So I'm driving along, doing 65. Next thing I know, I got to go around that Cadillac. Yeah. Now, of course, you can't see out the passenger door on the truck, so I get by him and cruise along, and the Cadillac's way back yonder. Then I look in my mirror, here comes that damn Cadillac again, goes around me. The last time it went around me, I don't know, must have passed me about 4 times. But the last time, here it was, a couple, the gal was leaning over and in the driver and the driver and was guess where? I go, what the hell? Whoa, get back on the road, Jack.
She must have dropped something really important. It must have fell in between the seats.
Cadillac would slow down and then all of a sudden,
Well, if he had cruise control, he wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
that is true. But he probably didn't have autopilot.
He didn't have a Tesla. So yeah, with the Bears, moving on
Yep.
Moving
to
on,
more
get out of
family-friendly
Chicago.
programming.
That's what he was thinking. Moving on.
Moving on. So again, we talked about Caleb Williams being on the cover of Madden, and then steam of the Bears relocating to Indiana. I doubt they're going to move out of Illinois. I think it's just the Bears teams just trying to gouge as much as possible out of them. They may relocate outside of the proper Chicago city limits, right? But they're going to stay in Illinois. I can't imagine them
That's
moving.
what the comment was. They'd be somewhere along there in the neighboring suburb. Well, look at the Vikings, they were going to, at one point, the orthopedic center was going to be, where was it? One of them, Brooklyn. There's a Brooklyn Heights or something like that.
It could be, yeah.
Anyways, was going to be there, or then it was somewhere right on I-35 or whatever town that is. I don't remember all the towns up there.
Well, yeah.
So then they finally decided right where the old dome was.
I mean, back in the day, the Met used to be right where the Mall of America is. So, I mean, it previously wasn't right downtown. So I obviously not living in Minneapolis or St. Paul, I could care less if it's right downtown. Makes it a pain in the butt to get up to a game. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Last bit of NFL news here. Russell Wilson retired.
Yeah. I heard that.
Which his teammates didn't much care for him. I'm not sure if how well he's gonna do on CBS. He doesn't seem like he's a very authentic person, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
And more locally, Larry Fitzgerald Sr., Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver for the Cardinals. His dad passed away. He was a long time reporter for the Vikings, one of the papers. What was it? Was it St. Paul Pioneer Press? I'm not exactly sure where he was a reporter for, but
I didn't hear that one.
he passed away. So, and of course, it's kind of reported on the Vikings, and then his son was a ball boy for the Vikings, and then his son played in the NFL. So, and that is the last bit of news that I have, unless somebody else has any more tidbits that I couldn't find.
No, I think we got to wrap up.
Oh, sounds like we pretty much covered what our knowledge will let us.
And we'll kind of hope and I guess wait and see if we have another week off. All dependent on the type of news, but I mean, it's quite a bit of news in the last week and a half, so let's play it by ear. With that, though, if you like what you saw here, like, subscribe. Again, hit the thing, do the stuff. With that, Skol Vikings.
Yes.
Let's win the game.
Skol Vikings.
Don't break eye contact. Don't break eye contact.